Galactic Archive, Cycle 112778. Expedition Report. General Zurta, Xtal Empire. The planet was classified Tier 4, moderate gravity, dense biomass, primitive life. No defenses, no orbitals, no advanced tech, perfect for annexation. General Zurta expected no resistance. He rarely did. The first dropships landed near a small village. The inhabitants, fleshy bipeds with crude tools, scattered in panic. Some ran, others tried to hide. None fought. Thermal scans confirmed full control within one cycle. Zurta ordered standard procedure. Gather samples, begin integration. Later, he stood before a containment dome. Inside, 13 human children. Small, trembling, wide-eyed. Science Officer Dreelen chirred. High genetic variants, likely undeveloped caste, pre-breeding stage. Are they dangerous? Not physically, emotionally unstable perhaps, unpredictable. Zurta's spines twitched. Why were they the only ones left behind? Dreelen hesitated. Adults may have fled or abandoned them. Zurta stared through the glass. The children didn't cry. They didn't speak, just watched. One girl held a torn plush creature. She didn't blink. She whispered, "They'll come." The translator buzzed. Zurta frowned. 4 cycles passed. Construction began. The children remained silent. No signs of psychic abilities or hidden tech. The planet was eerily still. Then, an unknown ship entered orbit. No ID, no weapons, no signal. "They're hailing us," said the comms officer. Zurta answered. Static. Then a voice. "You took our children. Identify yourself," Zurta said. "You think this is war?" The voice replied. "It isn't." The transmission cut. Zurta barked orders. Trace the signal, raise defenses, prepare intercept teams. The ship didn't respond. It descended, fast. On the surface, systems failed. Drones lost signal. Surveillance feeds went dark. The children were gone. Alarms screamed. Power flickered. Sensors jammed. Everything offline, except one blurry feed. 3 figures walking through the fog. One tall, one smaller. One, a child. No armor, no weapons, just walking toward the base. Zurta stared. No IDs, no data. Nothing explained how they breached the systems or took the children. But as lights dimmed and the air grew still, he realized something unsettling. Not confusion, not anger, fear. Surface Command Log, Cycle 112782. The compound was silent. No gunfire, no alarms, no sign of entry. But the children were gone. Gone, without triggering a single defense node. General Zurta stood in the darkened control room, watching the lone remaining screen, static-ridden and flickering. 3 figures moved steadily through the fog. Humanoid, slow, deliberate, no armor, no escort, no visible weapons. "Who are they?" someone asked. No answer. Scanners gave nothing. Their ship, still hovering above, remained dormant, silent, unarmed, but everything beneath it had stopped working. Zurta's voice sliced through the silence. "Deploy perimeter guards. Use shock lances. I want those intruders contained." But no one moved. His officers looked uneasy. Soldiers hesitated. "Sir," said Dreelen, "something is wrong. This isn't standard infiltration. There are no energy traces, no tech signatures. It's like the planet itself is helping them." Zurta finished grimly. Outside, 2 guards approached the trio. Protocol dictated a 3-step challenge. They got to step 1, then dropped their weapons. No fight, no sound. They simply stepped aside. One of the intruders, a tall male, nodded once in silent thanks. They passed. Back inside, systems continued to shut down. Doors refused to lock. Communication arrays buzzed with interference. AI cores ran hot and silent. Zurta clenched his claws. How are they doing this? Cloaking? Psychological warfare? Some kind of neural projection? Dreelen shook his head. They're not projecting anything. If anything, we're the ones reacting. Zurta turned sharply. Explain. I monitored their biochemistry. Adrenaline levels spiked the moment we approached the children. But not from fear, from focus. And their stress markers are, he paused, inhumanly stable. What does that mean? It means, General, they're not here to negotiate. The trio entered the central dome without resistance. Cameras inside blinked on just long enough to catch a frame. A man, early middle age, worn clothing, calm face. A woman, younger, eyes sharp, holding a data pad. A boy, perhaps 16, carrying two of the smaller children, silent and unafraid. They stood in the middle of the compound, surrounded by shock troops. No words were exchanged, not one. The man looked up at the main observation deck, straight at Zurta's camera. He nodded. Then everything shut off. Lights, shields, power, gravity stabilizers. Even the air processors paused for a breathless second. Zurta staggered as emergency backups hummed weakly to life. The trio was gone. When systems fully restored, the containment dome was empty. Every child had vanished. No signs of struggle, no damage to the walls, no breached entry points, just a message, crudely scrawled on the interior glass, written by hand in an ancient Terran language. We don't need your permission. Zurta stared in silence. This was not conquest. This was a warning. And for the first time, the general of a species that had conquered 3 spiral arms realized, humans don't ask. They arrive. Galactic Security Council, Emergency Session Record Cycle 112-785. Location, Neutral Core Station, Theta Vix. General Zurta sat in silence. For once, he was not giving orders. He was answering questions. Across from him sat representatives of 7 major species. Some glared. Others looked concerned. A few were visibly afraid. The chair being of the session, a crystalline intelligence named Voron, broke the silence. You claimed 3 unarmed Terrans disabled an entire Kaztal outpost without firing a single shot? Zurta's mandibles clicked. They took no hostages, caused no damage, and left no trace except the children. And you're certain it was only 3? Yes. Then what happened to the orbital ship? Zurta didn't answer. He didn't have one. By the time his ships regained control of local space, the intruder vessel was gone, vanished without hyperspace trace, FTL wake, or gravitational echo, as if it had never been there. News spread fast, not as a military loss, but as a humiliation. The Xtal Empire, dominant for over 100 cycles, had been ignored, walked past like furniture. A message had been sent, one no one knew how to interpret. In underground channels, humans started being whispered about differently. They don't act like us. They don't follow the rules. They don't escalate. They end things. Some called it myth, others psychological warfare. But then came the second incident. On a trade world in Sector 9, a slaver cartel captured 2 human adolescents during a raid. Hours later, every major power in that region received the same transmission. A simple video, 2 minutes long, no faces shown, no threats spoken, just a pair of hands placing 2 sleeping human teens on a bench in the capital square, unharmed. Then the camera panned to the cartel's compound, now a crater. Beneath the video, a message. You had your warning. Zurta watched that video again and again. He remembered the girl in the containment dome, the one who whispered, "They'll come." They had, and the galaxy was not prepared. Back at the emergency session, Voron spoke again. We need a profile on this species, a behavioral model, something we can predict. Zurta's voice was low. You can't. They don't operate on dominance or hierarchy. They respond to threats with surgical precision. They don't bluff. They don't boast. They don't show strength unless you force them to. So, what motivates them? Zhur-Taa didn't hesitate. Love. Silence fell. They don't conquer for resources. They don't expand for pride, but touch what they care about, especially their young, and they become unstoppable. Not because they're powerful, but because they refuse to lose. This wasn't a raid. It was a rescue. The cleanest, quietest, most terrifying rescue I've ever seen. Back on the Khaztal homeworld, the Empire issued a rare directive. Avoid contact with Terran familial units unless under sanctioned treaty. In simpler terms, don't touch their kids. The galaxy began rethinking everything it assumed about humanity, not as conquerors, but as something worse for tyrants, a species with boundaries you never want to cross.
Personal log, General Zhur-Taa, Cycle 112-790, status reassigned, orbiting Moon AL3, perimeter outpost. I was a conqueror once, now I am something else. After the incident, the Khaztal Empire recalled me from active duty. They said it was temporary, strategic reassessment, optics management. But everyone knew the truth. A general who lets 13 human children vanish without a trace is no longer feared. He is doubted. And in our kind, doubt is death. I wasn't executed. That would have been too loud. Instead, they gave me a view, a quiet moon, cold and empty. I watch stars move now. I study patterns. I read intercepted signals. And sometimes, I listen. Because Earth speaks quietly, but not rarely. I remember her eyes. The girl with the frayed plush and the calm stare. She didn't hate me. She didn't fear me. She pitied me. That haunts me more than any battle ever has. 6 cycles after the incident, I intercepted a low-frequency signal, ancient Terran language, partially encrypted. No Empire flagged it. It wasn't meant for them. It was a recording, visual. A human mother, speaking softly to a child beside her. No war talk, no threats, no strategy. She simply said, "If they ever take you, we'll come. Not just me, all of us. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter how long, we come home together." That was the whole message. No signature, no transmission trail. But I sat in silence long after it ended, claws resting still, eyes unfocused. Because now I understood. We've always thought of strength as firepower, shields, fleets, ruthlessness. But humans have something worse, conviction. They don't just fight for each other, they fight as each other. Family is not strategy, it's instinct. They will break physics to reach their own, burn planets if they must, but only if we make them. I filed the video away in a private archive, flagged as irrelevant. Officially, I have nothing more to report. But I know this. We may chart the stars. We may conquer 100 species. But we do not take from humanity what is theirs. Not their land, not their pride, and never, ever their children. Some nights I watch Earth through the long-range scope. Blue, small, quiet. I don't see a threat. I see a promise, and I wonder if we had asked instead of taken, if we had learned instead of ruled, would they have shown us mercy? Or worse, would they have called us friend? End transmission. File archived. Restricted Class 12. Title: The Panic of General Zhur-Taa. Full report complete.